Migz here, and I'm with Patrick Dennis.
That's correct.
Patrick, how are you today?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you for spending time with us today. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to do a little bit of PR work.
Yeah. We're here at the first Fort Lauderdale Concours.
The Inaugural.
The Inaugural.
Yeah. You have no idea the amount of effort that I put in to get this car ready to be here because of the importance of the show.
Oh, I can't imagine. Now, you live locally?
I'm in Delray.
Delray. Okay.
Halfway between here and West Palm.
Okay. All right. And did they have to airlift it up here to get it on the top floor?
I have no idea.
So you shipped it?
Yeah, they brought it in on a truck that was like overkill.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you a car collector?
In a manner of speaking, yes. I'm basically an engineer. I've been in, of all things, the toy business for 35 years. I made a great living playing with toys, mostly boys' toys. I've worked for Tyco, did road racing and trains and Matchbox and a number of companies before I finally packed it in and decided to back off a little. I have had a number of interesting cars through the years. Probably my first most notable was 1965 Austin Cooper S1275, which I, in fact, campaigned in the SCCA division.
Oh.
And a lot of autocrossing. Great car. We, of course, we prodified it. You don't modify a stock car. But you use all the right part numbers and suddenly it's got twice the performance.
Right.
So it is a great car, a violent little car, and it would turn on a dime and give you change. Very few cars can beat it across an intersection. But it's right. I moved from that into a Lotus Europa mid-engine, which I loved. 14 years of evolutionary engineering. We transplanted the original Frog motor for a brand Hart-prepared twin cam and 5-speed, a number of nice little things. It was a great car, loved it. And little by little in the 80s I became really interested in vintage cars and slowly made the decision that what I really wanted was a truly certifiably historic Lotus. Because,
It looks like you did that.
well, because my Europa, you back off, I loved it, but you couldn't quite tell where Lotus left off and I began.
Okay.
So I said, I'd rather have something original. I was chasing all sorts of cars, and then we saw the ad in the magazine where they were selling Pop. There are only 3 of them that are well known by the numbers, and I had to liquidate some stuff in order to pay for it, which I did, and it arrived here in the States in October of 1985. I drove it home from Manhattan through traffic hour, rush hour. Real quick bath in how to drive right-hand drive cars, shift with your left, all sorts of weird stuff. But it was thrilling.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
Especially driving through New York like that.
Well, actually, I started on the Jersey side, just off the Lincoln Tunnel.
Okay. It could be just as bad, but okay.
Oh my, that's terrible. But we did. So anyway, first thing you do, and I've said this before, when you own a Lotus, you end up with a number of friends that are like models. I mean, like if you got on the Elise, your friends are Elise type. You're the Elans, they're the Elan type. But when you've got a historic car, suddenly your number of friends expands exponentially. Now we're talking worldwide. The first thing you do is you join the Historic Lotus Register. And I've been with them now, and I do a lot of research. I am now the registrar for North America for the Mark 6s. So all of them go through my hands, so to speak, paper-wise. Know what's going on. But this particular car is unique. This is the first Lotus ever made in quantities greater than 2. If this car had not been successful, that one wouldn't be here.
Wow. We have the new one here today that we're going to be looking at. Can you give us a walkthrough of your car? I'm going to give you the microphone.
Absolutely. As I was saying, this is the first Lotus made in quantities greater than 2. This is a VIN number 39. It's about the 44th or 45th Lotus ever made. All the right hands have touched this car. The engine was built up by a little-known engine builder, Mike Costin. He went on to found a company, you may have heard of them, Cosworth. So he built this. This is taken up to 1466 cc's, so it's like 1500. In 1,000 pounds, not bad. It has Mark 9 brakes, which are the electron magnesium 11.5 inch. It's way over braked. I mean, for a small car, you know, it doesn't take much to get it. It does very well. The actual test drive on this was done by Colin Chapman himself. So all this is documented because the first owner was the person who wrote the first history book on Lotus, Ian Smith.
Tell us about the interior.
Okay. Well, it's Spartan, to say the least, but it fits. The first owner was like 6'4", I think. Somehow he fit in here. But most Lotuses were designed for people about 5'8", 135 pounds with a size 8 shoe. And if you look at the position of the pedals down there, you'll see they're so close together, you almost have to have your ballet slippers on to drive it. I actually have to drive it with special driving shoes. Well, there are several interesting things on the other side of the engine you might note. First of which is there's a rubber coupling between the carburetors and the engine. In its day, that was a hot setup because the shaking of the engine used to cause the float bowls to foam up and interfere with gas flow. The headers on here, of course, were done by Mike Costin. I always thought it was a real work of art until I actually met him. He remembered the car. I said, man, this is great. It's transition from square parts to round. I mean, it's really, you know, he's the gas flow specialist. He says, oh no, it was just the easiest way for us to do it. We used to cut out these little pieces, tack weld them, and have the lads weld them up over their lunch hours. Well, so much for esoteric theories. The weight distribution on this is just about 50-50. As I say, it weighs in right at 1,000 pounds. And it will get with the program. I've had an enormous amount of fun on some of the major circuits. A couple of years back we did Sebring. They just cut us loose and let us run and run and run and run. That was fun. You go as fast as you think your machinery should go. Don't stick your neck out, and preferably don't damage anything. But gee, that was fun. I've also been on the Glen. I'm trying to remember a few others. But anyway, that is the pleasure, is getting it at a show where I can actually do a little bit of education as to the background of Lotus and also show it off.
Patrick, thank you so much for spending time with us today. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for sharing your car with us. It's very, very interesting.
Well, you're quite welcome. I'm pleased to be able to do a little bit of PR work.